Well, a very good morning to you. Thanks for clicking on to the UK Europe video blog for today. I'm sitting parked out. Well, it's basically between Kirkcudbright and Newton Stewart, away down in the south, the far southwest of Scotland, in Dumfries and Galloway. And I'm taking my break. I've got a few more drops to do towards Stranraer and then back up towards Glasgow again. But it's been a fairly chilly night, and we've seen pretty much a widespread frost, give or take a few places that perhaps didn't really see much in the way of a frost. But a few things I have noticed this morning, and basically I have covered, from Lennoxtown, where I live just north of Glasgow, through Glasgow. There was cars frosted over in Glasgow, and all the way down towards Carlisle and the northern part of Cumbria. I've seen a pretty decent frost down there as well. So widespread coverage of frosty weather this morning, and fairly chilly. But really nothing in particularly unusual for this time of year. I think what's more of a shock is the fact that we haven't really seen this for many months now. It's really since May we haven't really seen a frost. But yesterday at my house the temperature dropped down to -0.9, which officially was the first sub-freezing low of the season at my house. And my wife was saying that there was we've got like a wee bird bath out the back of the garden, and that had a slight touch of ice on top of the water there. And there was a slight frost yesterday. Funny enough, when I was driving around yesterday morning, I never seen any frost. There was too much of a breeze blowing, although it felt cold. And in fact, actually, it felt colder, I think, yesterday morning with the wind as it did this morning with some frost. But nonetheless, we've seen temperatures widely around 0 to -2 Celsius. Nothing really particularly cold by mid-October standards. I think a lot of the reason was we had some slight influx of high-level clouds. As well as some, I think there was a slight breeze blowing, to be honest, in a few places. And that was really holding back the temperatures from dropping off to any great degree. Of course, last October we've seen temperatures, record temperatures, in fact, of -5 at my house, -6 at West Frew, down in basically in the Solway coast of Scotland, and a -7 at Tyndrum in Stirlingshire. Those were significant lows for the month of October. But certainly this morning is nothing unusual. I think if we didn't have the cloud cover, we didn't have a slight breeze every so often, I think the temperatures probably would have got down to around -3 quite widely. But we've got a change in the pattern now, and we're going to be seeing milder Atlantic air move back in. We're going to see an increase in the southwesterly wind. And over the course of the next few days, we're going to be seeing wetter, windier conditions, particularly across Scotland and the northern part of England, staying sunnier across the south of England. So temperatures with that southwesterly breeze blowing, pulling up the milder air, we should be seeing temperatures around 17, 18, perhaps even the odd 19 or 20 in the warmest locations in the southeast of England over the course of the weekend. But wetter and much windier across Scotland, but much milder. We're going to be seeing temperatures by the start of the week, in fact, up around 17 degrees Celsius in Glasgow. That's quite warm for this time of year, and lows will not be really getting much below 10 Celsius. And that lasts through the course of next week. We're going to be seeing a continuation of the milder but unsettled weather. Gone will be the cold as it retreats back towards the north. And I really do think, folks, that really does set the stage as we flip the North Atlantic Oscillation, that blocking high pressure over the Atlantic. Once we remove that, allows the jet stream to free flow all the way across the Atlantic from the United States. We're going to be seeing wave after wave of low pressure, a pretty strong Atlantic jet stream over the course of the next few weeks. And I think that leads us in and sets the scene for the month of November. And I continue to say this, that we're going to be seeing a very wet and very windy pattern over the course of the month of November. As for snow, I've had quite a lot of folk asking about, well, we'll see snow and cold. Well, if I'm being honest with you, overall it's going to be a mild and wet pattern, very wet and windy. I continue to stress the fact that I think we're going to see a pretty stormy, we're going to see some very deep areas of low pressure, I think, sweep across the UK, bringing gales, damaging gales across the UK, but some tremendous amounts of rainfall, I think, will be the script, and we will be dominated by very, very wet, potentially flooding conditions during the month of November. Now, as for the latter part of November, perhaps week 3 or week 4 of the month of November, we might be seeing that colder air as it builds over the northern hemisphere start to try and bleed southwards, and as these areas of low pressure sweep eastwards, and on the rear of the circulation of these lows, it can tend to pull colder air down. So we might be seeing some snow by the latter part of November. I do always think that we're going to be biased towards the hilltop snow as opposed to towns and cities seeing the snowfall down near sea level. But we will see in between these areas of low pressure perhaps some calming, some clear skies and light winds at night, perhaps some frosty nights in store. But overall it's going to be a pretty mild pattern, unfortunately, for those that like the cold and the snow. But I think there's a chance by the end of November we might see some weather, a turn to cooler conditions, and a little hint and taste of things to come during December. So you know, we just need to be patient. If you like the cold and snow, it will arrive, and it will arrive, folks, with great force, I believe, during around the 15th and 20th. That period in December leading up to Christmas could be a pretty turbulent, pretty harsh period as we ascend into the full-blown winter pattern across the UK and Europe. Of course, I've got my winter forecast coming up on the 31st of October. I'm going to have the details, highlights, when the cold is going to arrive, when the snow is going to come, how cold could we be looking at, and the timing of various events I'm predicting over the course of the winter time. I'm going to have that, of course, on the 31st of October, so I suggest you stay tuned to that. But that's it for now. I've run out of things to say, basically, and I'm going to close off now. But thanks for watching. Stay tuned to the British Isles and Europe tab and the blog. I'm going to continue to keep you updated as to what's happening. Thanks for watching. Have a terrific day, folks. Bye-bye.